Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Neo here, and so I just want to give you guys another video today just for fun. PlayStation experience just happened today, and all I can say is what a freaking great conference. Like, that was probably the best game conference that I've seen. I think we've seen, like, or I've seen, I know definitely for me, like, at all. Like, ever since I started actually watching these shows and these streams and everything like that, we've seen some pretty decent ones. But usually there's always that one part of the show where they start talking about something else and, like, it just falls flat, and it's just, the host isn't good, it's just awkward, it's just dull. And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's just always those parts in the shows that happen, and that just didn't happen at all this time, I think. I think maybe the two of the most, I guess, sort of awkward parts would be when they actually, PlayStation started talking about indie games again, and then when the guy came out with the Vita, and when they were talking about MLB The Show 2017. But for me personally, I love baseball. I've owned the show before, and I didn't get super into it, but I did like it, so that wasn't really a problem for me. I didn't think it was that bad, but it definitely felt like filler compared to like everything else that we saw. You guys know that I love my Vita. He had the same Vita that I did, the blue aqua blue Vita, so I thought that was really cool. I was kind of hoping for maybe another Vita announcement or something like that, but I think they knew that there was a lot of love for the Vita. There is a lot of love, and that they wanted to show support by making sure everybody knew which games were also coming to PlayStation Vita. So there was that, and they didn't spend that much time on indies. I thought that what they had there were some awesome looking indies. I'm so looking forward to playing Pyre from Supergiant because I love Transistor, I love Bastion, so I'm really looking forward to their next project, and I'm glad that it'll have multiplayer, so that'll be really, really cool. And then, there's also a bunch of other stuff that just, like, completely blew my mind. Like, I was definitely, let's, like, address the elephant in the room, The Last of Us Part 2. Like, I was not expecting that at all. Like, when they actually were showing, they were talking about another project coming out from a studio that was in very early stages of development, I kind of thought that maybe somebody like Sucker Punch, they might be getting ready to reveal what they're finally working on, because Naughty Dog's working on the next Uncharted single-player DLC. They're working on The Last of Us Part 2 that we now know, and Guerrilla Games is getting ready to drop Horizon Zero Dawn. Insomniac's working on Spider-Man, which they already said that they weren't going to be putting any Spider-Man content out. They said that they, on Twitter, like right before the conference or whatever, that they wouldn't have any Spider-Man content out, which stinks because I really wanted to see that. And then, they got to work on that frame rate. And then, it was just like, who's left? So you think Sucker Punch, and we haven't seen anything from Sucker Punch. And honestly, I would kind of like to see Sucker Punch do what Guerrilla is doing and do something else other than Infamous, because I feel like Infamous has kind of, gotten a little stale. I wasn't super crazy about Second Son compared to Infamous 2. But, I still enjoyed it, and I think that their production values have definitely shot up. Their new engine that they worked with looked great, but it's just like, I feel like it's probably time to do what Naughty Dog did with Uncharted, take a break for a second, work on something else, come back refreshed, and work on Infamous again. And I would like them, I told a friend who actually works at Sucker Punch that I would like them to focus more on the story of Infamous, because I feel like Infamous 1 was just so more comic book-like in terms of the fact with all the time travel and Kessler and just all that stuff, and just Cole was like a lot more interesting, I think, of a character to me than someone like Delson, who I like Troy Baker and I like Delson's design, the way he looks. I just didn't find him as cool as I did, like, somebody like Cole and his relationships to Zeke. And so I would like to see what Sucker Punch is working on next. Hopefully we can hear something about that soon. And I have no idea if they've said anything on the rest of the conferences today, if they were even there at PlayStation Experience. I have no idea, because when I'm writing this kind of or making this review, this reaction kind of video, I've just, it's been a couple hours since the press conference this morning at 10. And then also that I have just finished up live streaming a community event for the first time. I did my first ever kind of hosting of a community event of any sorts. It was a Senran Kagura community event, and I hadn't even played Senran Kagura in forever, but we had a great time. We got a full party, like a full chat party of people that were talking and playing the game, and we didn't have like a full lobby of Senran Kagura's players, so if you're watching this and you do follow my other stuff and would like to be a part of that community, you can join the Senran Kagura SWL versus multiplayer hangout. That's the name of the community that I created. We were celebrating over 100 plus members, So we have like 118 right now, I think. So it doesn't actually spell S-Will Versus, it just spells EV. That's how it's written. But yeah, just come join us and we can get ready for the next one. I'll definitely have to put on another community event because I actually really liked hosting and I thought that was a lot of fun. I'd like to do something like that for Uncharted, but it's never like really happened for me. So, but I definitely enjoyed doing that. But that's what I was doing for like from 3 until 5 just now. And now I'm getting ready to have dinner and all that other stuff. And I'm downloading Let It Die. Let It Die was one of the games that was actually announced that they were dropping today, which is crazy because I was not expecting that at all either. See, this is the thing. This was the great thing about what Sony did today, and that they just pushed the envelope in terms of presentation with their award shows and just their game presentations and their live streams. Consistently, just coming out with clip after clip after clip after clip after clip. And whoever was in charge of organizing the timing of all of this and where each clip would go and who would get what slot, like what time zone, like hats off to them because they did a really good job. It didn't feel like the conference dragged at all or anything like that, so I really enjoyed it myself. And like I said, it was just full of surprises. I'm glad that we didn't hear anything about anything like, you know, getting leaked and all that, especially The Last of Us 2. I'm glad we didn't hear any rumors about that. People had their speculations, but I'm really glad that we didn't hear anything about that. And obviously, Uncharted 4, The Lost Legacy, following Chloe and Nadine Ross. Like, come on. That was just awesome. And I knew from the beginning that I wanted the story to follow Chloe because I was like, well, I wasn't like a huge fan of you know, Sam, and I'm also out of the corner of my eye. I'm watching the gameplay right now of me playing Command, and my savior's just like taking people out and stuff. It's awesome. But you know, like I wasn't a huge fan of Sam. I thought that, and Nadine. I wasn't really a huge fan of Nadine, Sam, or Wraith. I just thought that their characters were not that, you know, memorable as somebody like Chloe and Sully, and they just didn't bring as much to the table. So I'm interested in seeing more of Nadine. I think the same thing helped Ellie for me with The Last of Us. You know, you guys know that I tried. I really tried not to hype The Last of Us because I was so disappointed with Uncharted 3, and when The Last of Us came out, I liked it, but I didn't love it, and it took multiple times for me to actually play it, to actually like it, and once I played Left Behind, I felt like I had way more of a connection with Ellie than I did when I played through the campaign the first time. I really didn't like Ellie's character that much the first time I played that game, so I'm hoping the same thing can be done for Nadine, and as was the case kind of with Fetch as well, and Sucker Punch. I wasn't crazy about Fetch, but after playing First Light, I did have a little bit more of a connection to her. So I'm hoping that we can get more out of that with Nadine. I guess part of my issue with Nadine at first was like her hairline I didn't really like, which is a weird thing to talk about, but definitely it looked weird, and also the fact that Laura Bailey, who voices her, is obviously white, and I'm not trying to be like racist or anything like that. I'm really not. I love Laura. She does, you know, great stuff as Rise and other characters like Chun-Li. But I just didn't really feel like her voice fit with the character all that well, especially when they try to make people to do accents that they obviously are not of that ethnicity. So I thought her accent kind of came off as a little weird. And so, but yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to playing The Lost Legacy. I think that it's going to be incredibly cool, and I can't wait to see what they do with it. It definitely felt a little bit darker than what I was expecting, like at the beginning of the game. Just kind of, it felt a little bit more, it made me a little bit uneasy seeing, you know, this war-torn city in India, and I didn't even know that Chloe was Indian. Hell, I didn't know that. Like, you know, I think they said she was half Indian on the live stream after that. And so then at the same time, you know, like, it was just kind of like, what's devastating the city? Like, this looks like a huge epidemic, like this war that's going on in the city. It reminds me a little bit of Uncharted 2 with Lazarevich and how he tears Nepal apart. So I'm really looking forward to that, and the combat, obviously, her combat moves look a little bit different, so that should be really fun to explore and see what they do with that. And also the takedowns, as you saw, that they had with Nadine and Chloe, how she tripped him up and Nadine just kicked him. I literally was like, oh, when that happened, so that's going to be awesome. We saw some great combat in Uncharted 4 with Sam and Nathan. I'm really looking forward to that as well. Like I said, right now I'm actually downloading Let It Die. It's like 23 gigabytes. It's going to take like all night, so I'm not even going to get a chance to play it until tomorrow. But Grasshopper Manufacturer, 2-51, those people, so it's going to be really cool to see that. I'm looking forward to that. It's not the same as it once was when they first revealed it. It looked a lot more anime-like and kind of had a different concept for the game. It wasn't free to play, but I'm still looking forward to seeing what they have come up with and playing that. Obviously, we heard a lot more other stuff about like Neo. Like I said, no Spider-Man. We heard some more indie games like Pyrus from Supergiant. We saw some more VR games. I was a little disappointed in the VR game titles they had. Didn't really look like anything that we hadn't seen before, and didn't really look like anything special. I think the next big game is going to be that Far East or Far something like that, the shooting game, because that's going to really show what people can do with the PlayStation Move again, and the tracking that it does, and you know, all that other good stuff. So it looks like we're coming to the close of the video. I'm not going to let myself get cut off, but I just wanted to, you know, give my first initial response to PlayStation conference for PlayStation Experience. And again, I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay. And yeah, I'm also going to be uploading the live stream of the Senran Kagura event, so hope you guys will check that out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.